No, I actually like the new meta a lot. The one thing that I've always thought was the most fun in League is that when people can just play whatever champion they enjoy playing.
Hey guys, Parks Owsley here with the Shotcaller, joined by Meteos after your first game to start off the split this summer. Sorry about that. Bummer of a start, but crazy meta, lots of things going on. Before we get into that, though, I want to say happy birthday. I know it was last week. How was it?
It was pretty good, yeah. Team got me a cake, sang happy birthday, got some presents from other people, got to see some friends, so it was cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw your tweet that it was kind of fun. You got to take a little break between scrims, so yeah. That's really cool. So over the offseason, let's see, you've had about 2 months now since your last game on stage in Miami. So what were your offseason goals? Kind of catch us up on, like, you know, how much downtime did you have? How much time did you then go into practice? And do you feel like you kind of accomplished some of the things that you were hoping to do?
So during the offseason, I wasn't taking too huge of a break because, you know, summer split's arguably more important than spring. Mm-hmm. So I was mostly just trying to play a lot of League, and I got some time to stream, so that was cool. Got to, you know, see my friends, do a little bit more like outdoor stuff. And so actually in the beginning of our off season, we traveled a lot. We got back from Miami for finals, and then we went to Detroit. And then from Detroit, we took a bus down to Cleveland, and then we came back. And then like right after that, I flew all the way back to Virginia to see my dad. We were having like a little service because my grandpa passed away. And then I came back. So I just did like a ton of traveling, and after that, I just wanted to stay home, like play League, chill, stream. So I did a lot of that, and yeah, I mean, mostly I'm just focusing on trying to like get better at League, like understand the game as well as I can, and I feel pretty good about it. Like I think I spent my time pretty well over the off season. Good combination of like relaxing, resetting mentally, and still like getting better at the game. So I think overall I'm pretty happy with it.
Mm-hmm. And how much time did you guys have as a team, kind of working on team synergy and like team goals, rather than just like each individual person working on their own stuff?
Well, we actually weren't really together as a team at all for the entire off season. Ryu and Someday were in Korea for the whole time. Cody went back to Canada, and so it was only me and Afro at the house. So there wasn't really too much team stuff, and I think we still have some like work to do there for sure, because the game's changed a lot, and it's still a big question of like how much has it changed, because the stuff we've been exposed to in scrims is a lot of like, you know, really weird picks. Everyone's like trying new stuff, but you know, Liquid pulled out a pretty normal looking team comp against us. Like that's something you could have ran last split, and it seemed to work pretty well. So maybe we like went too much in the direction of like trying new stuff and kind of like forgot the basics. So like maybe that happened. Maybe we just need more work, get more comfortable on champions. So I think as a team we still have a lot to work on, and because the game's changed so much, we're kind of like not all on the same page as far as like what we want to play, how we want to play. So it's just going to take some more time, some more practice to get there. Yeah,
for sure. I actually was going to bring that up, that their team comp, seemed pretty normal. I mean, maybe other than the Aatrox, but you know, the Zyra and stuff that we did see all spring. So that's the other thing, is when you look across the board with a lot of these like really strong picks like Aurelia and Ryze and Vladimir and the bot and stuff like that, they actually have a pretty low win rate. So I'm kind of curious, maybe people are kind of overestimating the strength of these other picks and underestimating AD carry. So I was a little bit curious on what you thought about that.
That could definitely be true. I think that anytime there's a big patch, there's always going to be the people that want to experiment and want to try new stuff. And then the thing you have to keep in mind too is that most teams have just been purely scrimming for like 3 or 4 weeks. And scrim games are always different from LCS games. Like in scrims, if you don't know if you win a fight, you take it. In LCS, if you don't know if you win a fight, you don't take it. And so there's always going to be this like really big disconnect between like some champs, you know, like you'll go into a scrim and someone will like come out of laning phase with 7 kills. Like you just solo killed the enemy 5 times in a row, and then you get on the couch after the game to review it, and someone will be like, "Yo, this is busted," and you have to be like, "Okay, well, let's actually look and see what happened because like I don't think it's normal to get 5 solo kills in a lane unless the person's just completely clueless as to what's going on." So a lot of stuff like that will happen. It can be very hard to get accurate reads because like the whole scrim culture is different, and a lot of teams try to keep it like as disciplined as you can in scrims, but there's just a lot more games. Like it only takes like one person being like mentally loose that day to like kind of get a bad read on the game. So lots of like that will happen. I'm sure once more competitive games start happening, the meta will kind of settle down a bit. But yeah, for right now, it still seems like pretty up in the air.
So scrim's important, but you do have to take them a little bit with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Another question that I have is, obviously you guys have a lot of veterans on the team. You kind of had a slower play style in the spring split, and this is a little bit more fast-paced. We are seeing games way faster than we did in the past. Do you feel like because of the veteran status that you guys have, you might be able to adapt faster because you've been in more metas, you've maybe played longer, played more champions, or do you think that might kind of hinder you because you're a little more set in like what you really are comfortable in?
I'm sure there's a little bit of both. I don't know if it's all one way or another, but I generally think that for me, I draw on my past experience quite a bit for just like understanding how champions work. Like, when random picks come up they haven't seen before, if you're a newer player who's actually never seen it before, you're not really going to understand it. But there's some just like aspects of champions where, take Brand for instance. Like he's been a pretty hot pick lately. He was banned against us. And like when you're playing against Brand, stuff like picking champs that can disjoint his ult or like getting stopwatches so that if the ult's bouncing to you, you just like go immune. That's something that if you haven't been around for a long time or played against Brand much, you probably won't think about. But, for me, like I've seen Brand a lot from just playing a lot. So it's something I'm thinking about. And that's just one example. There's all kinds of examples like that for just like different tricks you can do against different champions. So I do think having experience helps a lot, but also like being set in your ways can kind of make growth slower at times, and because everyone on the team is very experienced, maybe it's hard to like get everyone to change to be on the same page. So I think maybe there's like it'll take a little longer at times, but I think overall having experience is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, thanks for that insight. 2 more things real quick. One is we've seen a lot of Master Yi jungle with a lot of supports like Tark, mid, even Faker playing it. But then we also see in like EU LCS specifically like just Kai'Sa mid and a ton of supports. Which one do you think is either stronger or maybe that you guys might pull out? Like, are you going to be on Master Yi just pentakilling everyone? Or do you want to keep all that a secret? What are you guys preparing?
I'm not really going to talk about what my team specifically is playing, but yeah, like I think most teams have like at least experimented with the strategy of just like funneling everything into the jungler, and I think it's an okay strategy. The only thing is it's kind of like it's not the most versatile strategy. Like you kind of have to stack your side lanes to do this thing. Like you end up with a mid laner that's a support. Your side lanes don't really get much pressure because they're seeing your jungler 24/7, and so you're kind of putting all your eggs in one basket with the strategy. It can definitely work, but it's just you can't really catch them by surprise or do anything like too tricky with it. So I think it's okay, but maybe not like you need to run every game.
So viable maybe, but a little bit risky, a little predictable.
Yeah, a little predictable.
Awesome. Okay, so lastly before we go, in this new kind of meta or non-meta, broken meta, whatever, is it more exciting or are you kind of ready for it to go back and stabilize?
No, I actually like the new meta a lot. The one thing that I've always thought was the most fun in League is that when people can just play whatever champion they enjoy playing. And for the longest time actually, like I would even date it back to like Season 5 / like whenever the tank rework was, I kind of noticed this gap in the game where it became more like, this champ is going to have this role in the game. Whereas before, I could play Zac and I could like kill an entire team if I was fed. Where now, if I'm fed on Zach, it's like you better get a Knight's Vow and just buff up your carry as much as possible. And that's always felt pretty bad for me. It's like, I think advantages on any player on the team should just result in that player being really strong and being able to like take over the game. But for the past few years, it's been like, if any advantage you get, you immediately transfer your AD carry because nothing else matters. So I do like AD carries getting nerfed and more champions being viable in different roles. When the meta settles down, maybe it won't be that good, but I definitely like more champions being played and each player on the team feeling like they have more of like a shared impact in the late game, more so than just like AD carry is the only one who gets to play and everyone else is just a meat shield, because it's pretty boring, honestly.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. Excited to watch more League. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Catch y'all next time. Hey guys. Parks Owsley with the Shotcaller. I will be doing video interviews for the NALCS this season. So if you want to hear some more about what's going on in our neck of the woods, you can check out some videos up here or down below. So yeah, click some of those links and figure out what else is going on in the NALCS. See you next time.